Mozzarella Show special presentation.
You know him from our first show, the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer, but a very good friend of mine, very good friend in the show. I got Ace Andrews here. There's some things about Ace you might not know about his wrestling career, and we're going to get into that now. So, Ace, how's it going?
What's up? What's up? It is Ace Andrews. I am, as some of you probably do not know, a professional wrestler. My name is Andrew Roberts in real life, but I basically live a double life, and I am a professional wrestler on the independent scene, trying to make my way and do what I can to make it on the big stage one day.
Now, Ace, tell me, what made you decide to get involved with wrestling?
Oh, man, just growing up, wrestling was honestly like my entire life. I mean, I'm sure everybody that's in wrestling says that, but I mean, it's true for all of us that say that. You know, I mean, going on long road trips, just sitting there with my little DVD player, just watching WrestleMania, just falling in love with each wrestler individually, and just loving wrestling. I used to just play with wrestlers as a kid. Honestly, it's kind of embarrassing. I used to play with them until I was like probably 12 or 13, but you know, it is what it is because now I'm able to actually perform it and do it live, what I've loved so much.
Who were your heroes back in the day when you were watching wrestling?
Ooh, my heroes. I got so many of them.
Or more or less your favorites?
Randy Macho Man Savage was definitely one of the all-time greats and one of my favorites. I also loved, a lot of times, I loved, you know, Stone Cold, The Rocks, and I loved all the main guys, but it was the guys that were in like the middle of the card for me that did it. Like I loved Goldust, the Road Dogs, the X-Pacs. Like those are the guys I really loved watching. You know, Rikishi. I love those guys.
I was curious if you were going to bring up some of the older guys like Savage, because that's, you know, we have a slight generational gap. And, you know, the classics like Hulk Hogan and Savage, obviously I know you would respect those guys, but, I remember growing up watching the wrestling, and we had the Saturday morning cartoon that was voiced by, you know, Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Savage. And Mean Gene would do little cuts in between the cartoon. It was fun stuff. It was like this whole entertainment package. But I loved it when I was a kid.
I know. It's crazy. It's crazy how wrestling has developed. Like, you know, just as like back in the day, even the work in the ring, you know, like I still study and respect and watch all of the older guys as well, you know, like the Macho Mans, the Hulk Hogans, and I watch the ring work, and, you know, it's completely different from today as back then, you know, just as things have changed, you know, over time.
I could respect that. I do the same thing with podcasting. I'll listen to different shows and be like, I like what this guy does. I don't like what this guy does. And, you know, it's cool that you do that. You just, you know, Hulk Hogan in his heyday, Hulk Hogan was doing something right. I mean, that was all you knew back in the 80s. He was ruling that thing. So, you know,
I'm telling you, it's a craft. I went to school. I went to professional wrestling school, Team Vision Dojo. That's where I went, and I learned professional wrestling, and I study wrestling through all points and times. I'm always watching wrestling, thinking about wrestling, what I can do to better myself at wrestling. You know, shout out to the Team Vision Dojo to take me in and really give me my first step into the professional wrestling career that I want to be living. So, you know, shout out to them and Chase and Rance and all my trainers, you know, Aaron Epic, Jesus Rodriguez, Lindsay Dorado, all you guys, means the world to me.
Let me ask you about Team Vision Dojo, because I know from what I've seen from your Facebook and my involvement with you is it a school, or is it a wrestling circuit, or is it a little bit of both?
Now, it's a little bit of both. Now, the Team Vision Dojo is located in Orlando, Florida, and it is a professional wrestling training school. Now, there's training hours that it will, you know, teach professional wrestling, teach the craft. Now, there's also shows that are ran at the Team Vision Dojo every other Friday night, and that is called I Believe in Wrestling.
Okay.
That is the promotion name, I Believe in Wrestling. Now, you know, once you train, you start wrestling on that show, you start, you know, getting good, wrestling on other shows and doing as much as you can, and, you know, something will happen for you, hopefully.
What exactly is involved in the training?
The training consists of getting you prepared and ready to be a professional wrestler, you know, and that just, it takes so much to be a professional wrestler. I promise you that right now. The ins and outs of the ring, you know, a lot of people will watch and just think, you know, oh, well, they're punching and kicking and stuff. It's like, it's so much more than that. They teach us everything about the ring, everything about wrestling, the psychology, the promotional, what we need to say and whatnot. also, the business aspect. They teach you literally everything about the business. They teach you everything you need to know about professional wrestling, to get you ready.
Also, hand in hand with that, what I'm curious about is, how did you go about developing your on-ring persona of Ace Andrews? What decisions brought you to? Because really, the way you present yourself, it's really cool, because you look at it and it's very consistent. Like, okay, there's Ace Andrews. He's doing his things. But what you do, it's very impressive.
I tell you, the persona is just through hard work, determination, and grinding, and having the right influences, because I've had the right influences in my wrestling career, to put this persona in front of me and to have me work on it as hard as I have. And that has what has made it what it is. Also, like, I feel like the persona is me. Like, the persona really is Andrew Roberts. It's just turned up to the max. It's turned up to the 10th power. And that's what people want to see. People want to see, somebody to the 10th power in the ring. Somebody want to see, a character, somebody really out there. Mm-hmm. And that's why my persona is what it is today. And like I said, the influences that I've had, back in the day when I was a kid, all the way up to now, and that has all accumulated up to this Ace Andrews persona that I am.
Well, yeah. Well, me knowing you personally, I mean, it's definitely you. It's just like an amplified version.
Absolutely,
it's great, and it's really and the more you that you put in there, the more it's easy to buy into you, because it's yourself.
Yeah.
You're taking yourself up a notch. So yeah, it's really impressive. I want to talk about your tag team partner, Rex Backus, and the Dreamboats, because you guys have an excellent chemistry together.
First things first, I have to give just the biggest shout out to Rex Backus for being just my best friend in professional wrestling and just always being there for me in every way, shape, and form. And Rex Backus and I will always be the Dreamboats. It's been, I think, about 2 years, a year and a half to 2 years. We got together, and just the chemistry just flowed so well with us. It was crazy. We knew what each other was basically thinking in the ring. It was great. So we had to team up, and what better way, to team up with somebody, because a lot of people look, Rex is a little bit older than I am. There's a lot of things that we make up for on each other, and we really complement each other well. It's perfect. And, Rex is the one, he's the one that will get in touch with these promotions. He's the one that does the up and over things that will get us booked on shows. You know what I mean? He goes, all out there above and beyond, trying to get us bookings. And, without Rex Backus, I don't know really where my career would be, honestly, in professional wrestling. I don't think it would be as good as it would be right now.
Well, that's great. It's great.
Even though right now it is a little sour.
Well, we'll get to that. But once you get to that point where you're training and you're signing into practice doing something, and all of a sudden you're really actually in the ring with the crowd around you. I mean, at what point does it like hit you in the head where you're like, holy, I'm doing this. Like I'm straight up, I'm here. It's very inspiring. You decide, you made that decision that you wanted to do something, and you said, you know what, I'm going to do this, and you went out and did it. So what does that feel like when you're up there in the ring and you're doing it?
I mean, it really makes me feel just like I'm accomplishing something. It makes me feel like I'm a part of this world and society as I'm actually doing something with my life. And not only am I doing something, I'm doing something that I want to do. I love every bit of what I do. And I don't know if, even half of the world can say that they literally love what they do. Every time I step foot in the ring, my heart melts. I'm in my home. I love it. You know what I mean? And to be able to try to make a career off of that is just such a blessing. And I'm so honored to be able to do that. And it just for me, 3 years ago to, not really knowing what I'm going to do with my life, to now, like, really knowing that, okay, I found my niche in life. What can I do to better myself and really get this kicking? I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky, and it really takes my breath away just about every time I step in that ring.
It's got to be an adrenaline rush. I mean, between what you're physically putting yourself through and also the being surrounded by the crowd. I mean, it's got to be, once that thing is going, you got to be in that moment. I mean, I guess that bell rings and you're just doing it.
It's a feeling like no other. I can promise you that. You will never have a feeling like that in your life. And just to be able to feed off of people and to feed off of your opponent and to feel yourself be doing things is just incredible. And it really just like puts you in shock and awe, because it's like, I sat here and, watched people do this wrestling my entire life. And so that I could do this now, like, oh my gosh, this is just incredible. My life is just so sweet, and I'm so lucky to be able to do it.
So speaking of that, you've been doing it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was sometime last year. You had your injury. I want to talk about that.
Yep. I think it was June of 2016, one of the roughest days that has happened to me. It was ACW Thursday Night Throwdown. I was wrestling Troy Hollywood. Shout out to Troy Hollywood. Troy Hollywood, don't you ever hang your head and get upset about me, brother. Just letting you know. Troy Hollywood, he gets a little upset when he thinks about me, and I want him to know, brother, you got to keep kicking, and this is the industry we're in. This is what we do. So, me and him were going at it, and listen, he is a worker. So I was super stoked that night to be working him. Mm-hmm. We get in the ring, everything's, flowing smooth. And, wrestling is just one of those things where it's unpredictable. There's always an unpredictability. And just one minor mishap. Yeah, just one minor mishap. And next thing I know, my collarbone is broken. Mm-hmm. So, I'm in the middle of this match, and my collarbone is broken. So, Troy Hollywood had to finish me off. The 1, 2, 3, came down. And after the match, my collarbone is broken now. So it was rough. I had to go, and I had to get surgery immediately. And after that, the story even gets darker because my love of pro wrestling was so strong that I literally couldn't be away from it. So about 8 weeks after my surgery, I came back too soon, and me and Rex were out wrestling, and I was taking bookings too soon, and I broke my collarbone once again.
Because you went back too soon.
Yep, because I went back too soon. So now I'm at, I want to say probably like 7, 8, or 9 months. I try not to keep track. I try not to even think about it, but it's been a very long time. Mm-hmm. So I actually have to wait until May to get surgery. After I get the surgery, I have to wait about 3 to 5 months. But I will be training after I get my surgery, training in the ring, getting ready, getting myself prepared. And I'm going to come back and do it right.
What are you doing now to keep yourself involved in wrestling?
Well, honestly, for about the last 6 months, I kind of ghosted out. I wasn't going to shows. I was just kind of staying at home. Being injured and stuff, it was really hard for me because, this is what I want to do for my career. This is what I want to, support a family off of. So it was really hard for me to not wrestle. So I just just wasn't around, and I wouldn't go to shows. I would just stay at home. But now I'm starting to get back into it. I know it's starting to get closer to the time to me getting back to wrestling. I miss it more than anything. So now I have a whole bunch of involvement. I'm going to shows weekly. I'm going to training every once in a while to see what's going on.
Just kind of keeping yourself involved.
Yeah. I'm going to more shows, and I'm going to be going to more shows. And, I'm hitting up promoters, seeing if there's anything that they need from me. I can't work right now, but if there's anything that they need, that I could do right now. Me and my partner Rex, we have a show coming up. It's called Cripple Fight, me versus Rex Bacchus. He has a broken foot. I have a broken collarbone. And we will see who the ultimate cripple will be. So I still have my involvement in wrestling, and like I said, I am going to be back in it and be around it more now.
Well, yeah, we all want to see you back, Ace. So just take your time, heal up right, and I think it's good what you're doing, keeping yourself involved. I think it's whenever you're not actually doing what you're doing, I think the wheels are probably always turning in your head. So being exposed to things and seeing things, and still networking with the other wrestlers and talking about what's going on. You could take this time to really. I would think you could take this time and really reflect and actually come back at this stronger. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Maybe this could be a blessing. I mean, already early in your career, you've learned now how to handle an injury. So, you know, that's your first, and I think it happens with all athletes. I mean, there's baseball players that, you know, pull a calf, or, you know, football guys, and all of a sudden they're gone for a year. So it happens. So you just need to, you know, respect those injuries, which I know you've learned. But
I've learned it the hard way, but I definitely have learned it.
Yeah, but I think it's good that you're up and still in there instead of just sitting in the corner and just waiting for it to, you know, just to be back. I mean, you could always still develop even if you're not out there, I think. So I think it's good that you're back. I'm glad to see you out there.
It's definitely good to be back.
Let's fast forward and say, you know, you are healed, you're back in. What from this experience have you taken with you, and where do you see yourself, or where do you want to see yourself in the future?
Well, in the future, I hope to see myself at 100%. I hope that, you know, my collarbone is fully healed. I definitely hope that I am 100% working wrestling shows. I hope I have bookings after bookings after bookings. I hope that I'm so booked up. I hope that me and Rex, I hope honestly that it goes back to what it was before I was injured, but better. You know, I hope that, and I see it happening too, because, you know, I'm not going to let anything hold me back now. And I really miss it. And I know now that, you know, the future, honestly, I see no limits when it comes to it, because I've given my collarbone twice. You know, I see what wrestling can do to you. So now I'm really ready to step in there, you know, do everything for the right reason and become the best professional wrestler that I could possibly be when I'm back in there. You know what I mean?
You know, Ace, best of luck to you. You know, I know you're going to do great, and we all look forward to seeing you back in the ring.
Shout out to the Bunzarelli Show for having me on. I promise you right now, I am the number one Bunzarelli supporter. That is a fact. I absolutely love the Bunzarelli Show, and I love everything you do.
You know, I've mentioned this before on different explanations or Facebook and stuff. I wanted to let the audience know that first of all, I've known you and I've watched you start and go on this journey with wrestling, and it really inspired me, because it was like, you know what, this guy decided he wanted to do something, and he went out and did it. He just said, you know, because we all get these ideas like, oh, maybe one day I'll do this, maybe one day do that. And I was always tossing around the idea of the podcasting. And one day, you know, I just looked at you and I'm like, you know, what am I waiting for? Just do it. And you were one of the first people that I had talked to about it, because I know you're not afraid to be put out there, and you were one of the first people I told about it. You know, when you tell somebody else an idea, it kind of justifies it in your head. It makes it real. And the other thing I want to thank you for was, you know, when we launched the Spider-Man show, and I want people to know this about you, when we launched the Spider-Man show, we were hanging out and we're like, you know, the Spider-Man trailer launches tonight. I got to do this. We got to do this. And you, like within an hour's notice, we did the first Bunzarelli show. And, you know, like I said, thank you for inspiring it. You helped launch the show. So, you know, thank you for that, Ace. We wish you the best.
Well, man, I'm very, very honored, and I'm very blessed to be a part of it. So it makes me feel good that, you know, I've inspired you.
Awesome, Ace. Thanks so much. It's been great talking to you, and we look forward to hearing more. Make sure you check out Ace. I'm sorry. Do you have a Facebook people can find you at?
Yeah, just oh gosh, I think, I mean, you know, Facebook, Ace Andrews. I mean, I'm the good looking one with long hair.
And then I'll obviously put a link in the show description and also on bunzarelli.com. But you guys should definitely go check out Ace's Facebook page. And also, I believe the Dreamboats have a Facebook page if they want to go check that out.
Oh, yeah, we definitely do. Go check out the Dreamboats, because we are coming back, and we will be the hottest commodity in professional wrestling. I promise you that.
Awesome, Ace. Thanks a lot. It's been great talking to you.
Thank you so much.